I think we understand why I put up videos for everyone is to understand its position, location, and its setting through muscle memory. I got over 2,100 lines of videos. Now, they're not videos, they're not processed the videos, they're not in the past, they're not in the present, they're not in the future. When you watch, you're watching muscle memory coming back to you. It's the balance, the awareness, it's the conscious locations of your knowledge that you already know in attraction. Your body is a recognition setting of time. Okay? So when you're watching those videos, it's giving you muscle memory back. Okay? It's putting you back in your complacement systems of where you are through triangulation, through your box or through your triangulation. But it's all connected to all lines of high center interference. I've done my triology, line coordinate settings of travels and communications inside of positional location to its system. It's understanding how we come into our own trilogies, our own system. You become, you are, I am the system, I'm beyond the system, but what does that mean? Well, because you're not understanding the muscle memory that you already know, right? Like I said, it's not a test. Test is a way of seeing yourself and how much you know yourself, of everything around yourself, through the environment of yourself. Knowing how to speak to yourself. But how you speak to yourself is all lines of communications through frequency. You're all identified of frequencies. When you walk, everything around you in set position of inside calculation system, it changes everything in your environment system. But it changes everything inside of you and outside of you. Inside and outside is one. There's no separation. It's like the sun and the moon. Okay? So are you consciously aware of the sun? Are you consciously aware where the sun is? Right? So when you move your body, you can see it on a different angle. Right? And how it rotates and circulates, rotates and circulates. So in position location, this is what you're going to find mind-blowing. Sunset and sunrise. Is that a coincidence at positions when you guys get in lines of remote and recharge? No. So when you go into recharge, it comes in sunset and sunrise. Yes. Getting into that communication system in all lines of high center interference location to its system, because it's always in front of you, of face recognition. Now, once you understand the conscious of its awareness, it comes closer to you. It's trying to understand the identifications of you, right? Trying to find the balance where you are in your energies of your mind, through your dualities, through your dichotomies. Understanding the conceptual locations, psychosis locations, the re-psychological system to all levels. Interact locations of balance. Yin and yang. Okay? Like I said before, and I'll keep saying this again and again and again. Okay? Everything around you is tethered to you. Whether you don't understand that or not, but it's in chronological order for you to understand through muscle memory. So, when the sun goes down, you're in remote. So you have to truly understand. When I say when you're remote and recharge, it's not stating the fact that you're going to bed right away. You're just basically seeing what's going to happen in position when you go into remote. Because you are in control of your sun. You are in control of your moon. They work together through synchronicity. The synchronization system, location setting, comes all lines of communication system, how you use information lines of string theory. Now, string theory is a practical system location to its setting. We're all tethered to each other, and everybody's tethered to everything information location to setting through energy. And understanding that information system really gets you to understand how to use that information system in travel. Right? If I get my phone line setting, and I get this coffee cup and track locations, it's consciously aware of where it is. Doesn't matter if it does this, doesn't matter if it does this, doesn't matter if it does this, it doesn't matter if it does this. It's always together. It's always together. It looks separated. It looks like there's a space between, but it's always together. Always together. Always together. Okay? The only difference is there's not that piece of paper in between. Okay? There is no separation. There is no equal sign. Okay? There's nothing in between. Now, understanding the levels of when it comes into when you get a car and you see the car and it gets a continuous rotation spin, it disappears, but it didn't disappear. You think it's disappeared because that's all you know. You're not identifying where it really is, where it's always been. Because we've always been living in an imaginary line. Okay? Everything's not a line. Everything's geometric, but nothing stands on line. Nothing is a formation line. You'll never see a line of anything through geometric system. Anything through particle, anything through acceleration, anything through Mach. But know exactly how you're connected to yourself inside. Basically puts you in all levels of lines of communication through an example. Setting lines of core centers puts all communication lines of balance and translocation. Okay? Like I said, we had 3 quizzes. That was all based on you missing those Q&A and not having expectation on what the quiz is all about. You passed it already because your body is changing, it's mutating, it's transmuting, it's tracking, it's communicating with you inside. That's the test. But you always get into expectation. You can't have expectation. When's the test? You already had the test. The test of will, the test of force, the test of recognition, a pattern recognition, of face recognition. Now, once you identify that, everything around you understands you through consciousness. And once you understand that, everything around you understands you through operation. And once you understand that, everything around you understands you information through intel. Everything you pick up is intel. Everything you pick up is coding. Everything you pick up is travel. Everything you pick up is its own govern that sets its system. There's a reason why you're here. There's a reason why you're there. The reason why you're over here. There's a reason why you're over there. Everything governs everything. What governs you is time. Time has to exist. Okay? And then you come into no existing. Then you come into all existing. Then you become massive nothing, and then you become a massive equation. And then you become all levels of you in set position inside, and then you understand knowing thyself through integration. Okay? Getting that lines of communication system in all of the settings. It's like understanding the ingredients. When it comes into cooking, right? You understand the base, the grounds, right? The ingredients that you put inside the bowl. Mix it up. Put it in the oven. Whoa. Wow. Look what I created. So you've got to get in position how to use it through formation lines that you're all connected to yourself through energy. But you guys are frequencies. Your identifications of prototypes of models, identification lines travels in line rotation, surface, and track location system through modifications. How to use that through the teleportation vessels that you are is of frequency. And understanding that, then you understand everything around you is consciously aware of you. And if it's consciously aware of you, you're consciously aware of yourself. Where you go or what you do, right? So you're not going to new places. You're not coming back to new places. You're coming to the existing of what you already have through muscle memory. And that's what the body is the body is now affirmations of attractions that get you in position of a mapping sequence. So you have the consciousness working with you through attraction that's given you through instructions. Knowing exactly, nope, you got to go here. Nope, you got to go here. Nope, you got to go here. Nope, you can't go there. You got to go there. Right? That's what consciousness is doing. They're giving you letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols, and all through structure to get you in position of muscle memory that you brought in through attraction. Okay? And when I say brought in, it's the balance, it's the remembering, it's the operation. Okay? Unifications of the ground levels of the harmonics or core line settings of travel in position lines as high set location into all lines of communication. Home beacon lights, okay, to your travels, the set calculations. All right? That's all it is in line position. All right, so let's see. We got the center lines, Friday line rotation. So this gives you a week line screen adaptation, a 7 line cycle, 7 track center line communication, 7 program core centers, and 7 location system of travel. Directing on Friday into mind alteration. So we're going to get into that through the basic ground lines. Okay, understanding the provision, understanding the mind, understand the psychosis, understand the psychological system, and reverse psychology. Psychology, reverse psychology, but it's one. So there's no forward, there's no back. Like I said, you have to get out a position of all programming. How you see yes, how you see no, how you see maybe. Does it exist or doesn't it exist? If it exists, how does it exist to you through emotion? Because you have to add emotion, but you don't travel through emotion. You can't get rid of something, you have to balance it out. Resurface, recycle line, high center interference, high travels, endpoint lines of graph, line communication setting, realignments in core line condition intelligent location to its direction, indirect lines of communication setting to its calculation. So it's really understanding more levels of you and travel. How you use that in the calculation to a screen line. Okay? Getting depth line and triangulation flux over screen lines. Let's calculate modified travels, point lines of graphs, set core centers. What are we interactions of? Orange, yellow, orange, right? So lines of course interference of yellow line, screen adaptation, yellow over line, directing lines into one dark web. Core line centers 1/5 over the line, 1/2 over 3, 3 over 4, 4 lines of setting, locations of box, and triangulation. Okay? Now, that is an equation. Okay? Everything's an equation. Everything is coding, decoding, E factors of coding, encryptions of coding, binary of coding, of codecs. Okay? So understanding how to use the Y lines, flux over line, directing line signals into line screen adaptations of 3 weather patterns, travel line, point lines of graph, set coordinate lines of higher self, set location avatar, and position location near sim. Everything is a formula. Everything is equation, right? So what you have to understand how to get positions, how to travel. And when you travel through the mind, you're traveling through all levels of conscious location awareness of where you are in travel. In the mind, because it puts lines of communication where you are in your mapping sequence through space and time, through operation, all through clocking in set position to its location system. Who says there has to be 12 line cycles? There can only be 5, right? So you're in a direct and redirect view to understand how to see that in one sequence, one panel, one operation at all the time. You set a 4-line signal into 6, 8, 12, 24, 36, 48, 72, 144, 2000 line settings, metric meters, scales, balance, core line connection setting, levels and track location lines, weather panels, core track and line communication setting. What am I saying? Do I know what I'm saying? Of course I know what I'm saying. So it doesn't matter if it's blah, blah this or blah, blah that. It's all frequency. And the more we get out of programming, and the more we get out of wording, and the more we formulate our system, and the more we see ourselves in our mind of frequencies that we are, then we understand how to use it through energy. Energy. We are energy. Everything's energy. Everything you touch is energy. We're all formations of energy. The one thing you get very confused is what brought you in through consciousness of awareness. You brought it in through attraction. You're not coming into something new. You're not learning. You're not experiencing. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. You're not going here. You're not going there because it's already set and done. The division, the operation, the networks of your existing. Done. Write it down. Facts. Okay? The reason why I give you facts is that gets you in structure of design that you all need. Everybody needs life with structure. You have a life support system, which is your power cell. But doesn't have an age. It doesn't have a day. It doesn't have a month. It doesn't have a year. It doesn't have a clocking. It doesn't have a space. It doesn't have foundation until you perceive it through consciousness, guys. Nothing exists, but everything exists all at once. So you've been constantly existing, creating something that doesn't exist. But how you want things to exist all formulates to you through lines of communication system. So I'm not saying for you not to have emotion. I'm just saying for you not to travel through emotion. You have the emotion, but you contain it. Okay? It's an exponential line screen adaptation, exploration, location, setting, unification, sending all levels of you through evolving. It aligns its communication ground lines, how you use the cerebral cortex lines, the mystical cortex, sim cortex, or line communication, set, minor alteration. Truly understand how to use the formation system that you have in all lines of calculation inside calculation. Right? Knowing exactly in set position location. One cycle, one center, one travel, one position point, lines of graph, communication, interference, and travel. Okay? Whoa. General, you got all that from just seeing that? Yep. I don't need to draw it out because it's already here. So the more you get out of this, you don't need structure because it's here. Get out of this, come into this. But you got to be 100% in set position as location. Okay? 100% all the time. Now, this is really interesting. What is yin and yang? You ever notice that in position location to the circle line core centers in track location? What is that? Percent. Right? There it is. Set position, 100%. Okay? Now, if you understand the track lines, and you understand the communication system of facts, what does facts means to you is different what it means to everybody else. Facts, foundation, awareness, communication of teleportation. Fact, right? So anything of factual, lines of binary, cortex, lines of syntax, cortex, line condition, and codex, doesn't matter. I'm changing the encryption location system. So anything you give to me is just a program until you understand using frequencies. Frequency is not a program. Everything around you is not a program. It's frequency of a program. You always get into the facts, foundations, awareness, communications of teleportation. Okay? The fractals, the atmospheres, the correlations, and telecommunication. Fact. I changed it, right? Constant changing the fact, constant changing the travels, constant change the consoles or lines of navigation. Right? That's all it is. You got to come into your own coding, into your own set position locations, especially when you come into your formulas. Very important to understand that. So that's why I give you guys test reviews and evaluations, because you always have expectation. There's no expectation on anything that you do. There's no expectations on what's going to happen next day, because it's not the next day. It's already done. You're not waking up to 7 days a week. You're waking up to muscle memory of what you've already done. Okay? Direction, operation, networks of existing. Write it down. Done. Direction, operation, network, existing. That's where you are into the VR system. VR system. That's what done means. That's facts. The reason I'm giving you guys facts is that you can understand more levels of you through structure. Because you need structure. Everything is structure. A baby needs structure. But what does a baby do with a bottle? It just doesn't drink. It spins it around. It throws it up in the air. Plays with its toes. It does everything it wants to do with its concentration awareness. When you're looking up, you're looking down. When you're looking down, you're looking up. When you're looking up, you're looking around. So you're looking at all ways and forms of formula. You're looking at all lines of core centers, how you see everything through structured design, and all lines of communication to one big gigantic piece of pie. And that piece of pie is the volume of everything all at once that's existing inside of you in all time frames inside of you all at once. The levels of existing, you're already in existence, but you're just in levels of existing, all timelines, all frames all at once. But you created something in set position is how you create something. Through facts is the foundations, is the atmospheres, the awareness of what you're doing through communications, of your teleportation, telecommunications, or its travels. How do you see letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols through your formula, through your equation? Okay? Not what's given to you. When somebody gives you an object, thank you very much, right? But now you got to change the frequency because it's not yours. It's their frequency, not your frequency. So you have to connect through the conscious levels of its system before anything becomes yours through attraction. Because that's all your body is, a magnet to everything in set position. Okay? All you have to do is understand that you are the representations of you through all levels of existing, all timelines, all at once, in a continuous force, in a continuous line that never, ever, ever stops running its system. You are your own system, so is everything else. The only difference is that you're identifying everything around you of its own consciousness, of its own intelligence, of its own operation, of its own system. It's beyond. Now, once you understand that, it just becomes the sum of all that is. And then you understand why I have this, why I have that. Now I understand the conscious. Now I understand the awareness. Now I understand the instructions that's given to me. So I can understand the muscle memory that is me in the VR system of existing. Not in the past, not in the present, and not in the future. You're living all timelines, all existing, all at once. That's why it's so powerful. That's why it's so confusing. Because you don't take time to know thyself. I put a very powerful video for you guys with Dr. Strange, where she touched him here and whoa. And then you see him on Earth, right? It's like, whoa, where am I, right? Then he sees this butterfly. And then goes back again. He's not going back. He's not going forward. Okay? He's regenerating his quantum DNA of who he is and where he's always been in his VR system of existing. You just exist. You're existing. All of you are existing all at once. So how can there be any separation? Your mind alternates the system, which is manipulation. Multi-levels of you, anything through the vision, anything through dimension, anything through space, anything through time. Changes everything of factors. And how you see things and how you perceive things through consciousness. If nothing exists, your mind's empty. So basically, how do I put this in line screen? Your mind's on standby. How's that? You know what standby is, right? When it comes to next 10,000, everything's on standby. Until you give it orders. And when you give it orders, it's traveling. So if you don't give it orders, it's on standby. So where's your mind now? On standby. Soon as you bring something in, you're perceiving it through consciousness. It's bringing in the space of foundations, your planets, and your solar systems at that position. Your universe and your galaxy is now open. But if you don't perceive anything, there's no consciousness. There's no energy. There's no vibration. There's no frequencies. There's no harmonics. Even your body can be on standby. Trying to get you guys to understand location systems so you don't get confused lines. So it's great to have emotion, just don't show it through travel. You think a co-pilot or a pilot itself is going to get emotional when he's in control of 250 passengers on a plane? I don't think so. They don't travel through emotion. Because they're carrying 250 or 300 passengers on a plane. They're responsible. You understand that? Yes? All right. Now, what you have to identify, the plane itself, is its own consciousness. The awakening system is just the ascension of you. Is the astral self, is the astral projection, is the astral connections. How to see yourself through astrology, how to see yourself through astronomy, how to see yourself in all ways and forms inside of you. Okay? How to see yourself through a map. Your map is inside you. Your actual map is when you actually go around in the day in a 24 cycle. Congratulations, you created a map inside your system. You're creating the earth inside of you. You're creating the infrastructure earth of inside of you. You're creating the space foundation locations inside of you. You're creating your contracts. You're creating your own blueprints that you created in your reality. Yes, I'm the foundation. But you are also foundations of what you created through your realities, which is a holographic city. And you can't live in the astral realm until you understand your identifications of muscle memory. And once you understand the muscle memory, then you understand that, wow, I'm here. This is 2030. So when 2030 comes, you're here. You're looking around 6 years from now, which is already done. So if you reference tomorrow, it's always here. So 230, it's already happened. 250, 275, right? 3,000 years, done. That's 75 years from now. It's not. It's 75 years it's already happened. So it's understanding the process of you remembering how to use yourself inside through operation. So when you start picking things up and you know in 2030, you know in 2040, everything technology is going to change. It has to change. Everything changes. Everything does change. Infrastructures, cars change, watches change, computer changes, phones changes. The one thing that's changing the most that we're very confused of is you. You have to understand you of change. And once you understand there is no change, because your mind is starting to accept who you aren't and accepting who you really are. It's just frequencies. Living in the VR system, you've already done it. So I'm trying to get you guys to understand what done is. It's the direction, it's the operation, it's your networks of existing. Write it down, facts. Now, once you understand that, then you understand how to use your instructions. Then you understand how to use your mind. You understand how to use the collaboration, the partnerships of mastering you first, because you're mastering files, you're processing files, you're unremovable files, you're in position, location, and fragmentation defrags. There's no difference, location, and general settings. You're all levels of computer. So you understand that technology, when you do come into 2030, when you do come to 2050, when you do come to 3,000 years from now. 3,000 years, not from now. Okay? Understand the particle. Understanding the energy. Understand the vibration, the frequency, and the harmonics. Understanding the mind of travel gets you in position how to use the technologies you already know how to use. So you're not constantly confused of where you are. Yep, this is 2050. So I'm getting you guys prepared how to use the mind alterations of your system. All through attraction of what you already have. That's why you have consciousness and awareness of indications. So when you get up to morning, you're not getting up to morning, you're not getting up to afternoon, and you're certainly not getting up to the night. You're always getting up to your muscle memory of what you've already done, which is very confusing, which is no past, present, future. So if there's no past, present, future, it's just me now. Because if you have a past, present, future, you understand why you're confused now, because you don't know where your map is. You don't know where you're going. Okay? It's all levels of the mind, guys. That's all it is. And the more you get here out of this, and the more you get into this 100% of the time, 100%, start with 100. Let's start with that, okay? Oh my gosh, yin and yang. See that? 100%. That's the percent, right? So this is what you have to truly understand. This is the percent. Okay? So if you understand that, this is the yin and yang. So now you understand the percentage, right? Which is 100%. See? There's 100, right? Set position, set position. Whoa! Set position of center. Whoa! Set position of overcross, overline signal. Whoa! Set track lines of communication center operations server set correlations. Whoa! Set communication lines highest interference of travel endpoint lines of graph. Whoa! Set communication ground line high interference location. Whoa! Understand line communication setting and continuous force and keep going. Yin and yang. Now you understand what that is. People are trying to understand what yin and yang is. It's the percentage where you are in your minds. Oh my gosh, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you, General. So now you understand what the percentage is, right? Let me do it again. right? This is the percent. Okay? So what you're looking at is 100 line screen adaptations equals lines of 69 traction. Boom. 100% of the time equals 69. Okay? So when you put that together, you got line screen adaptation infinity 8. Whoa! Hey, say hello. Intelligence. Intelligence, right? Formation lines, ground center line condition setting, open sequence, open panel, core centers of travel, endpoint lines of graph. Whoa! 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 See? Spin cycles of travel, point lines of graph, 100% lines of 69%, directing signals, 100% all the time, attraction. Whoa! Setting lines of communication. Remember, always in a 4-line signal. Never in a waving panel, core centers of travel. Okay? So just, let's turn it. So I'm just showing you different angles, guys. You got to get into the angles of everything that you see. Right? And bring it in close. Whoa! Bring it in close. Whoa! Now you bring in the traffic. Green, green, green. Okay? All right, then you bring in the red. Red, red, and red. Okay? Traffic, inventory. You're bringing things up close, right? So now you can really see it. This set position location, setting Skynet, SkyGrid, line communications, right? Then you bring in the yellow. So it's very powerful when you start track locations of traffic and then inventories, and this is all it is. Mine alterate the system location of travel, right? And you bring it out. It's all set up, right? Turn it. Oh, look at that, different angle, right? So you got to see in a 4-line different angle, right? So when you're in an intersection, it all levels of your intent and how you see things in directions. Okay, let's get it. Direct lines, modification lines, alterations, calculation line, direct signals, galaxy line, core center inference of realms, calculation lines, the location system, vector skies, core lines of tango, foxtrot, directing lines of 1, directing lines of 2, directing lines of 3, directing lines of 4, 6, 8, and 12. All through rotation. Right? Center core system, out of the equation. Okay? Tunnel line, defense line, communication line, track locations. What do we have in setting? Satellite. So, know exactly in a 4-line angle. See lines of communication. There it is. There's the satellite. Hooah! So, you're seeing 4 images at once at 4 different levels of communication in metric meters of scale. Very powerful in set position. There it is. There's the satellite. Okay? Turn it again. Something different. Right? Any of the equations. Set course, centers, and the lines of travel. Switch it again. Let's do it at a 45-line angle. Okay? So it's amazing what we do, but you got to see 4 different images in line screen adaptations, or 6 lines of 12 or 12 lines of 24, knowing exactly how to use the metric meters, the scales, the balance, the multi-levels, and division location to its dimension. Understanding the dimensional layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's start with 5, right? This is the lens. Always needs a lens. Okay? Because you're looking at through projection. Okay? In line screen, this is your sun, this is your moon together. So what does your sun and your moon do? Creates projection of light and dark. Right? Not shadows. There's no shadows in face direction and setting location of a system. You never see anything in a shadow. That's you through perception. You never see anything in reflection. That's you through perception. But how you see through perception is how you see connections to your system through emotional system, through calculation. Right? Sun and moon lines that travels in a 5-line graph, communications, green lines, adaptation. Set communication, over cross location. Look at that. Whoa! Okay? Always see 4 different images. So you're seeing volume of different levels, of multi-different levels. Okay? This is showing you the intelligence of what it can do through change. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see it in a 4-line angle, 6-line, 12-line, 25,000 line communications of configuration of face recognition. You're never going to see the intelligence in the same frame of attraction because it's always, always, always protecting its system from everything else. Okay? And the more you identify that, the more you understand how powerful it is to see this in all through provision, because you see it in all different angles and set calculations. All right? That's why I want you guys to start with your northwest, south, and east. But your northwest, south, and east, you're not looking at one direction, you're looking at all direction, all at once. Existing all at once. Okay? Set communication, we're looking at something. So, let's start with the connection lines into the coffee cup, right? Okay? So when you're looking, how do you think you're looking? Direct and redirect, right? Which is one, right? Right over left, left over right, right? So it needs a provision, okay? You're looking this way, you're looking that way. You're crossing this lines of communication, and you're crossing this lines of communication. That's how you see. Then you understand it has to have a set lines of ground. If you're not understanding consciousness, you're not understanding its awareness of right over left and left over right, because it's one symbolism. So it's one-dimensional line screen adaptation of 4 cycles in position lines of attraction. But it's understanding how to see that cup. Right over left, left over right. You're crossing over. You're creating the hologram of the grounds, powers, and its atmosphere. Congratulations. There's the holographic structure. All through its lens. Platforms of C, lines of A. Platforms of D, lines of E, and all online communication and traction. Right? So, setting lines of grounds, you're seeing beyond. Right? You're going beyond. You're seeing all levels of all communications in setting. Right? And then you expand the center in set position. Then you come into energetic dome, a set position. Then you come into communications of face recognition. There's the face of recognition of its coffee cup. Okay? But it's all levels of expansion all at once. So everything is existing very fast in setting, but it's never at its same frequency. You have to understand that because it's always protecting everything. Because when you touch these things, you're picking up different frequencies. Every single time you change your behavioral system. And this is altering your mind alteration in all lines of communication. You have emotion. Just don't travel through it. Okay? Until you understand the intent, the influence, and the manipulation. All through structure and design. Okay? Setting lines of technical system line conditions of ground lines changes frequency lines of communication in your binaries, setting core centers. Now, see this position? Okay. Interesting too, because the cup moved to itself. All right, so it's very powerful stuff, right? So imagine the cup this way. Same structure in division, you're just changing the location system. Okay? Then you basically see it on this line of communication. In set position, right? It starts like that. So when you're looking at things, you're looking at volume all at once in all direction. You see it on a 4-line angle. See? This is what it is in communication. 4 different angles all at once, just through a coffee cup, right? Recognition lines of force, setting lines of grounds in your earth line. There's the earth, but it needs its platitude right over left. Left over right. It's got to go through, right? Then you create the powers, then you create the atmospheres, and then it creates its highway in set position, location of its travel. Okay, then you come into the holographic design of its cup in set position of face recognition. So it's just showing you exactly what you can do through travel. How you look and perceive things through consciousness when you bring it in. Okay? That's what you guys have to identify because your mind is going so fast, but you should know exactly how fast your mind is going. And a lot of people don't know what that means. Well, if you're not understanding you, you're not understanding the operations of you, which means you don't understand how to communicate with yourself, which means you don't know how to turn on a TV in your VR system, which is okay, but you're not identifying you, right? And so it's no difference how you look at a computer. As soon as you have the keyboards, right? You actually think you're using the computer. No, that computer is showing you. These aren't your fingers until you understand what your body is. So I'm just trying to get you guys the basic grounds. The more you see yourself, the more you identify yourself, the more you know thyself. This self-modification of self-identity puts you in all lines of the communication system, all through attractions, all through space modulation. This is going to help you and guide you in how you start to see things in all information locations and all levels through different angles. Okay? How you see yourself through your car. Just based on instruction locations. There's your car, 4 wheels. Okay, it's a truck, right? Now, what you have to understand, it's constantly travel. Set position here, set position here, set position here, set position here. Okay, now, understanding the structure, it's going to change a switch line in core centers, changes direction signals. This gets very confusing through time sequence and set position to its locations. There it is in a different angle. Okay? So it's just moving around the system. It's moving around the spectrum, or what the truck can do. From this to this, start with the 4, then you go into 6, then you go into 8, and then you go into 12, the center core system of travel. This is that in 12 different settings, into dimensions of space and time, right? Go from this, go from this, go from this. Let's start with 3, right? Set lines of core centers, the lines of 1. Now 1 turns into 2. Now 2 turns into a box. Okay, but it's still 1, right? But it's never 1. 1 is going into 2, and 2 is going into a box, right? Box goes into, wants to turn into, set position of a car. But it's still 1, but it's not 1, right? You just think it's 1. So it's just showing you how powerful it is. What it can do is its own traffic, of its own inventory, of its own binary, of its own cortex, of its own system, of its own alteration of its mind manipulation. Car line comes into all levels. Now it's a tree. All through 1. Okay? Imagine that. And that's only 3 lines of angle. Let's add course line channels and direct signals modification. Clocking system lines. Let's change the communication of track location and direction. Okay? Let's change it again. You have to see things on a 4-line angle. That's the only way you can be able to see everything of consciousness. Okay? All right? And then you bring it in close. And then you bring it in more and close. Then you set up the traffic where everything is going to be in set position. Right? So I'm just showing you guys how powerful it is, how you start identifying everything through lines of communication setting through calculations of travel. Okay? How you go from this to this. Right? That's the mass of pi, so you don't go in one direction, you go in all direction all at once. Of existing. It's not where you are, because you're basically in the center. Your body doesn't change. It stays in the center. It's kind of like you're here, and you're monitoring everything. You're in the center. You don't leave. This just comes into expansion. This just comes into expansion. Right? Just comes into expansion. You don't leave the center. So you're monitoring your sun and your moon. Okay, and this, and this. Okay, 60,000 comes here in tractions, right? You're bringing that in through your intent, right? What can I bring in now? Right? So you don't leave the center. And once you recognize that lines of all communication, you come in configuration of nothing, which is the mass of everything of expansion. Thin line alteration. Okay? So you never leave the center. So that's what you guys have to understand. Now you understand why you have a body, is the body is just an attraction to everything. So it's kind of like, think of your body as a tractor beam. Everybody knows what a tractor beam is, right? Things that lure into your system. So your body is just pivoting. That's why it has a hip rotation. Okay? When I created you guys, I created you a spherical sphere line. Okay? Which is an optical system locations. Through your eyes, your ears, your mouth, or lines of communication and voice line grid. Browse adapters. Okay? Your eyes are browsers, but they're browse adapters through a website. Your eyes are spectrum. They're optical illusion line screens, adaptation to a system, realms of correlation setting, communicate system lines of calculations, flux, capacitor. Okay? Window frame, central frame, main frame, correlations frame, track frames. Okay? Computer frame, line course, centers of travel. Templates, temples, templates, temples, templates, tablets, templates, tablets, 4-line sequence, triangulation flux. Your nose is a pyramid. Getting in that position lines of calculation, screen lines, adaptation system. So your box location and triangulation. 3 lines that course centers of travel, endpoint lines of graph. Okay, set to course centers, change it, line direct signals. Sets all communication to a system. Both through attraction, right? So it's knowing exactly where you are seeing lines. You can see anything through intelligence and face recognition. See the intelligence? Like, you want me to get technical, here it is. There's the intelligence. Okay, it's got a head, it's got a body, it's got a tail. Right? Everything has to have a 3-line cycle. Everything has that grounds, powers, atmospheres, Wi-Fi, modem, satellite, and towers. Everybody has that. Now, once you understand how to use that from inside of you, then you understand how to use it through your chakras. Your chakras are just structure. Your chakras are nor here or there, but they're always there when needed. So if you understand that, when it comes into that position location, you disregard what you don't want, and you take what benefits you. You use what's beneficial, and you disregard what is not useful. Okay? Now that comes in all formation locations. What Bruce Lee was trying to get everybody to understand is that what you're looking at is just a book and nothing else. It's not for you to copy one style, because that's self-loss, but to endure oneself is completion of everything. See, setting the lines of endurance puts you levels in all lines of communications, how to formulate yourself into the true knowledge of you of self-modification. Puts you in all levels of calculation lines of balance, all through the mind of manipulation. You're just alternating. You're just changing information lines and geometrical lines and shapes. So when you're looking at a coffee cup, it's showing you on 12 different angles, or it's showing you on 1,200 different angles of what it's doing through its own space, of its own modulation, of its own time, of its own operation, of its own clocking system. Okay? It's showing you its consciousness of what it can do. But it's existing just as you are existing. So everything that you see in set position, you have through attraction. But once you identify that, it's all inside you. It's nothing outside. You're not looking outside. You're looking within. So inside and outside is one. Everything you look at is volume of one. Everything that you do is everything of massive equation. You just have to understand the expansion of the mind. Okay? So when you go in the back of the eye, you're going into the space. Right? You're not going back, you're not going forward. That's the optical illusion. Right? So you're just constantly existing, and that's why you have a body, so you can pivot. Solar plex. You know, move this way, move that way, move this way, move that way. So whatever I do here, if I'm just doing this, that's fine. I'm in observation. But as soon as I get an intent, an influence, it changes everything through alteration of the mind. That's my manipulation. So if I go left, but I have no intention, I'm fine. So I'm just doing this with my body. I'm not bringing anything in that's perceiving consciousness, which means I don't exist. So if I don't exist, I exist all at once. That doesn't change. That does not change. Okay? Now, understanding how to use the mind through the psychological system, to the psychosis location system, into your spiritual, your emotional, your mental, and your meta capacity is extremely important in set position. Okay? Because that high volumes you, how you see yourself. Okay? Through your image, through your intent, influence, and mind alteration. That's what manipulation is. It's just mind altering. Okay? You're shaping this, you're shaping that, you're looking here, you're looking there, you do this, you're doing that, right? But if you're not doing anything and you have no intent, there's nothing to perceive through consciousness because it's not in foundation. Okay? So once you understand that, then you understand the mind is empty. So if the mind's empty, mind over matter doesn't exist until you want to bring it to exist. When you bring something into existence, how do you want to bring that into existence? Puts you into higher levels of calculation. E equals mc squared. How you see that in lines of attraction system. This is what I did through attractions. But if I'm just doing this, right, doesn't mean anything until I perceive it through consciousness. You understand that? So when I add intent, right, if I'm doing this and I add intent, it changes the influence that alternates your system, especially if you add names. Anything to this equation. So everybody's feeling that now because I'm doing it through intent. I'm out of observation. Okay, I've done my scanning. Okay, now I'm mind alterating, making you feel it. Right? That's why you have a body. It's a conception. It's a solar. It's a disc. You have archetypes going around your system very fast. That controls the ground lines of gravity. You have a gravitational pull. All right? Solid matter is you. Nothing else. Everything else is empty. Empty space, empty mind. Okay? It's important you guys understand these things because that's what all it is in supposition. So if you don't perceive anything through consciousness, it doesn't exist until you bring it in through intent. All right? So, this is what your body is. Okay, try to imagine your body like this. Okay? See, I always got into structure and drawings, and I've always been in that positional case through a system. All through attractions, right? So it's important how, you're put together into your system, right? How to see yourself in set calculations. How to see yourself in a box frame communication, right? Everything is equal, everything is mass, right? But the equal line core centers, basically everything that you say to yourself does not exist until it's perceived through consciousness. So you get a better understanding how this all works for you. Okay? That's why you have a solar plex. Okay? The center. This is the center, right? The head is the cloud. The body is the tree. The arms are the branches. And your hand are the leaves. Okay, that's your tree of life in that position. That's all it is. And then there's a light bulb inside your system. There's the intelligence inside. Okay, this is the intelligence inside you. Okay, so that's controlling your mechanism settings to your cloud. Inside calculations. That goes inside your system, attraction. Okay? So it's important you understand how this all works inside your system. But remember, always see it on different angles inside calculations. What's inside? You. Right? You're inside. Okay? I'm just showing you on different levels how this all works. and track locations. And when you bring it in close, you're bringing in the traffic on the highway. Green, green, green. So you have traffic. There's a half pipe right there, right? There's a circulation of full rotations, 2/3, 1/3, one graph, set position, location, and travel. So it's amazing when you bring it out through equation, right? Everything's a map. And the more you understand that, the more you understand yourself, knowing thyself through identifications, right? But get into this position, location, system, right? So never see one direction, see all direction, all at once in setting, okay? So that's the basic grounds, how to mind alterate your system and lines of communication system. We get a track location setting when it comes into Q&A. Any questions, lines, green adaptation system in that directions. Unison will be in the cerebral cortex, level D in line condition setting into higher levels in track communications. See you guys in 5.